Hello, this is Tisch Aitken, and this is your monthly report for the month of December, the final month of the year, and we're in eclipse season, so much happening in a short period of time. Eclipses happen every 6 months, and it's like a full moon and a new moon on steroids. A lot of pivotal changes, loss of jobs, new jobs, promotions, major breakups, major fated meetings, and new announcements of relationships, big moves, big life changes in a very short period of time. And eclipses also want us to wake up and learn something and raise our consciousness, and they can really shake us up. So sometimes they can make us see things in a whole different way and bring light to something that we had no idea of, or something maybe we've been avoiding and that's been brewing and building up, and suddenly it just explodes and you have to deal with it and make decisions. So we're in eclipse season, lots of change. It's the ending of the year. Venus will retrograde on December 19th at 26 degrees and 29 minutes of the cardinal earth sign of Capricorn in your house of daily routine, work, and habits. Venus entered Capricorn on November 5th, and it will be there until March 6th. And hopefully it's giving you a chance to reassess your routines and your habits, maybe being more creative and productive in your work. Capricorn is a cardinal goal-oriented sign, so really figuring out how to set boundaries with coworkers, maybe at the workplace, but also with yourself, really committing to giving yourself your all in what you're trying to accomplish. And so Venus will be there for several months. We're in eclipse season. The Sun and Mercury are transiting in the mutable fire sign of Sagittarius in your house of romance and creativity and levity, and hopefully that brings more joy. So on December 1st, I'm obviously feeling the Neptune haze. On December 1st, Neptune, which is the higher octave of Venus and the planet of dreams and imagination, as well as deception and delusion, stations direct at 8:22 a.m. Eastern Standard Time at 20 degrees and 24 minutes of the mutable water sign of Pisces. And you feel that energy 5 days before and 5 days after. The energy of the planet is emphasized, of an outer planet, when it stations direct or retrograde. In this case, the haziness, the confusion, the intuition, and the psychic messages that come to all of us. And for you, Neptune is stationing in your house of loss and joint resources, death and regeneration, as well as empowerment and healing. And it might bring up very emotional issues, but hopefully in order that you can find spiritual tools to heal, also healing around your money and your finances. That will be a bigger direction going forward. But Neptune stations, we're all going to feel that. Then there is a solar eclipse that occurs on December 3rd at 11:43 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and on December 4th at 2:43 a.m. Eastern Standard Time at 12 degrees and 22 minutes of the mutable fire sign of Sagittarius. And this total solar eclipse occurs in your house of romance and creativity and children and joy. And this is definitely a time of setting intentions and planting new seeds. It's like a new moon on steroids, a very, very powerful new moon. But also, the south node of karma is transiting in Sagittarius, and it will be until January 18th. It's almost done with its transit, but it's like 1 degree of Sag right now. But something that needs to be released in order to manifest joy and happiness in the era that we're in. do the law of abundance, do rituals to bring in that happiness. On December 6th, Mars forms a helpful sextile to Pluto, and that's really good for getting things accomplished and, focusing on healing your finances and your work and your habits and just really getting things done. On December 7th, Mercury squares Neptune at 10:16 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's the planet of communication. There could be deception or miscommunication, and just recognizing that it can be a bit difficult, but it's also really good for doing manifesting work. Later that day, Mars squares Jupiter. Mars is the planet of action and activity, and it's been transiting in your house of home and family since September 30th. It's going to be there, or October 30th, and it's going to be there until December 13th. Just a lot going on. Could be stuff with family and being very busy, but it's not a negative energy per se. And they square one another, yes, on December 8th at 1:21 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. December 11th is a very emotionally intense day. Venus meets up with Pluto for the first of 3 meetups, and that can be very emotionally intense. Can bring breakups and endings, or just heaviness around finances or relationships. It's also necessary for doing healing work for all of us in areas, many different areas of our lives. They meet up at 11:29 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in your house of work and routine. And, there could be power struggles at work or at the workplace, but also transforming and up-leveling your work and doing it in that way, and your health regimen. Later that day, the Sun squares Neptune at 10:21 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and on December 12th at 1:21 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. There could be power struggles with the Venus-Pluto conjunction, and with Neptune involved, things could get dissolved. There likely could be breakups or just very heightened emotions. Deception could also get uncovered with that energy. On December 13th, there's more of a exuberant energy. Mars enters the mutable fire sign of Sagittarius at 4:53 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it will be there until January 25th in your house of fun and creativity and romance. If you're single, great time for dating and meeting people and having some fun. Great for all, for being creative and a little more optimistic. Mars is great in Scorpio, but it's pretty fierce and pretty harsh. And so it's definitely a little more optimistic in Sag. And later that day, Mercury, which is the planet of communication, enters the cardinal Earth sign of Capricorn at 12:52 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It will be there until January 2nd, also in your house of routine and habits. Mercury will enter Aquarius on January 2nd, but it's going to retrograde in the middle of January, and it will re-enter the late degrees of Capricorn by the end of January, and then in your house of work and routine, and then it re-enters Aquarius on February 15th. So a lot of focus on your relationships and work and how you can be more productive. So we're not yet in the Mercury retrograde stage, but Mercury and Venus will both be in your house of habits together at one point next year. So really helping you to set boundaries and also to commit to what you want to get accomplished. On December 18th, there is a full moon that takes place at 11:36 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's at 27 degrees and 29 minutes of the mutable air sign of Gemini. This full moon occurs on the date that Mercury squares Chiron, the wounded healer, and Mercury rules the sign of Gemini. There could be some hurtful words conceivably, but there could be issues with friends. Maybe there is a blow up with a friend because the full moon does fall in your house of friends and groups, but it also technically ends the eclipse season because the eclipse season began on November 4th with a new moon that occurred in your house of home and family. Then we had that whopper of a lunar eclipse that occurred on November 19th in your house of career and life goals. And that was at 27 degrees and 14 minutes of Taurus. And you're still reeling from that energy. That's a huge eclipse. That was a lot of loss and endings, but also change in the direction you're taking. With this full moon on the 18th of December, there's definitely heavy emotions. There are a lot of heavy emotions at the final month. It's the day before Venus retrogrades. It's eclipse season, which is already emotional, and we've been dealing with such a difficult time. Figuring out what you need to purge. Hopefully there isn't too much stuff going on with friends, but if there's drama, not partaking in it. Maybe a friend's going through something. On December 19th, Venus officially retrogrades at 26 degrees and 29 minutes of the cardinal Earth sign of Capricorn, setting off where Pluto retrograded in April of this year. That's the planet of death and rebirth. And this occurs at 7:02 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then later that day, Chiron, the wounded healer, stations direct at 8 degrees and 26 minutes of the mutable fire sign, not mutable, it's the cardinal fire sign of Aries in your house of manifesting and hope, teaching, learning, and adventure. A lot of wounds are emphasized, but that's all positive that Chiron is stationing direct. Venus, as I mentioned, will be in Capricorn until March 6th of 2022. So it's going to remain in your house of work and habits and routine for several months. But again, giving you an opportunity to really commit to the work you want to achieve. That's an intense day emotionally. The Sun sextiles Jupiter at 7:32 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, hopefully bringing some light, but that is a tough energy, and it is heavy. On December 20th, Mercury forms an innovative trine to Uranus at 3:18 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That could be good for you for professional opportunities and good for your work and getting things done. Very innovative energy. On December 21st, the Sun enters the cardinal Earth sign of Capricorn in your house of work and routine, where it will be until January 19th. A lot of focus on your habits and your work as we get to the end of the month, end of the year. And then on December 24th, Saturn squares Uranus at 2:17 a.m. Eastern Standard Time at 11 degrees and 5 minutes of the fixed signs. Saturn is the planet of structure and responsibility. Uranus is the planet of chaos and unpredictability. They both rule the sign of Aquarius. Saturn is the ancient ruler. Uranus is the modern ruler. They couldn't be more different. It's going to be a lot of chaos, and we've had already 2 rounds of this, but in how we progress ahead and evolve in this whole futuristic new time. But it could be chaos definitely around December 24th, around that time period. And on December 25th, Venus and Pluto meet up at 7:02 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, that's a very emotional energy around relationships. There could be breakups, there could be issues at work for you, but also just in general for all of us, very heavy energy. Mars forms a helpful trine to Chiron, the wounded healer, but realistically, that's a heavy tone. On December 26th, Mercury, which is the planet of communication, forms a helpful sextile to Neptune at 4:29 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That can be very creative and energy. On December 28th, this is a big deal. This is a planetary change. Jupiter, the grand benefic, re-enters the mutable water sign of Pisces, where it will be from December 28th until May 10th in your house of healing and transformation and money and joint resources. This could be excellent for bringing more light to doing healing work, good for empowering yourself, definitely good for improving your finances, your intimate life, your love life, your sexual life. This is all positive energy. And then Jupiter will enter Aries on May 10th in your house of manifesting and teaching and optimism, where it will be until October 28th. And then it's going to re-enter Pisces until December 20th. So it's going to be in your house of healing, and intimacy, and money. Then it's going to go to your house of teaching and promotion. So this is a big deal. Jupiter rules Pisces in ancient astrology. It's very creative. I think Pisces is the most creative water sign, and you're the most creative fire sign. And we're expanding through love and through dreams. And so that's a big deal. And then on December 29th, Mercury meets up with Venus at 5:27 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That could be heavy because Venus is retrograde, and it's reassessing your work and your habits, but setting off the Pluto story. So probably intense energy that day. The Sun squares Chiron, the wounded healer, so I imagine it's a bit emotional. On December 30th, Mercury and Pluto meet up at 4:54 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that definitely can involve power struggles with communication. It can be emotionally very dramatic, but it's excellent for doing research at work for you, getting to the bottom of things. The moon enters the mutable fire sign of Sagittarius at 6:08 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on December 30th. That's a nice light-hearted placement of the moon. The moon goes void on January 1st at 3:16 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with a square to Neptune. And I think that's appropriate because it shows that many of us feel directionless and lost and confused. And also, it shows a preview of the dreams and magic that are possible for all of us with Jupiter and Pisces. And on the date of January 1st, the Sun forms a very inventive trine to Uranus at 4:50 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, showing that each of us has invention within and we can get through this. Take care, Leo, and Happy New Year.